Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Destiny from Desphixs and welcome back to another video in the Django e-commerce project. In this one, we'll get started working with Paystack payments in Django. That is what we'll be doing. Hopefully you will enjoy the video and learn something new. Consider dropping a like on the video and also subscribing to the channel. Also check out some of the links in the description below, as one of them there might actually lead you to what you might be looking for. And also I've got a couple of courses there that should help you become a better Python and Django developer. So without any further ado, let's get started. Begin by opening up your code editor, and in the last one we worked with Stripe payments and it's actually quite fun. In this one we will get started with Paystack, and Paystack is actually a simple payments gateway to integrate because everything I think is already laid out in the documentation, so you don't actually need to stress about it. And I really love the way they wrote their documentation. It's very easy to implement. It's very simple. You don't need to stress out yourself to get things to actually work compared to some other payments gateways out there that I've worked with in the past. So yeah, let's get started with this. Only thing we need to do is go ahead and define a function that should verify Paystack payments for us, because payments will be made using Paystack inline in the front end. So we don't need to actually worry ourselves with writing the back end to perform any of those operations. All we need to worry about is making sure that when the user have made the payments in the front end, that we professionally and efficiently verify the payments in the back end to make sure that everything checks out fine before we go ahead and mark the order as paid. So to get started with that, you just want to say define Paystack underscore payment underscore verify, and you want to pass in request and order ID over here, just like we've been doing. Now I want you to scroll all the way to the top, grab the order ID and just put it down there. Good. So now one more thing that we will be getting from Paystack is something called a reference. So when Paystack makes a payment for you, they redirect you back to any page that you have specified and also append the reference of the payments for you. Now I want you to think of reference like the session ID or the transaction ID that we used for PayPal. Okay, that's the same thing that reference stands for. So for reference, we will be getting it from the query parameters by firstly defining a variable called reference, and this should be equal to request.get, and over here we will get something called reference. For any reason reference wasn't appended, let's return an empty string. Okay, now if reference exists, that is only when we want to process Paystack payments, because without the reference, it's as good as not doing, it's as good as we don't have anything to work with. So let's compile the headers, because we'll be making a direct API call since Paystack does not actually have any official Django package that will seamlessly make the payments for us. I think it only makes sense to use their official APIs to make this verification, as that is also even faster. So to compile the headers, the first thing we need is authorization. And for authorization, it's basically the bearer token that we need. So token is going to be settings dot Paystack private key. So Paystack underscore private underscore key. If for any reason you don't have your Paystack private key, I have dropped links in the ENV. Please go ahead, create a free Paystack account. It's totally free. You don't have to pay anything, and grab your API keys, public and private, plug them into your ENV. And after you've plugged them into your ENV, you need to make sure to also add them to the settings. So I'm going to put that down here. Paystack ENV should be ENV, and then we put this. So I just paused the video to grab all the keys that I will be needing, and I'm going to put them down here. You can see I need Flutterwave, Paystack, and Razorpay. This will be for future tutorials, but I just want to install them now so we don't have to go through the stress of coming to the settings. I will paste the same thing here. All right, that's it. So when you have all this, make sure that you take Paystack private key, come over to the views PY, and make sure that you're putting it over there for the bearer token. Good. And after that, you need to specify the contents type that the API actually accepts. So content type should be application JSON. Application slash JSON. Very good. And after you have done this one, let's go ahead and make a request to Paystack verification endpoint to verify a payment. So say response should be equal to requests with an S. Please don't forget that. .get. So we are making a get request actually and not a post request because we are trying to retrieve this particular payment that was made on Paystack and grab just one key value pair, which is called payment status, from the response and check if it's equal to success before we grant user access to the order and things like that. So say request.get and in an F formatted string, we want to say https api.paystack.co/transaction. Whoops, I hope that's correct. /verify. Okay. Then over here is where you then need to go ahead and append the reference. Good. And alongside the URL, you also want to say headers should be equal to the headers that you compiled at the top. All good. Now, what we want to do is go ahead and convert whatever response that we will be getting here to a JSON format so that we can be able to grab items from it seamlessly without having to deal with some sort of query set object or things like that. So we will say response should be equal to response.json. Good. Now, when you have converted it to response.json, just to prevent confusion, please change this to response data. When you've converted this to response.json, check if response underscore data dot status. So if response.data dot status actually exists, that means, yeah, we can continue fetching every other thing. Now you can check if response data dot status, if it's equal to success, what do we want to do? Please use single quotes. Actually, there is no reason for you to use single quotes or double quotes. It's just that I'm already using single quotes, so I want to stick with single quotes. All these places where I have used double quotes, don't worry, I'll go ahead and format all this later. Okay, so if response data status is equal to success, now this is something that exists in the JSON that Paystack is going to return back to us. You could even go ahead and print response data to see how it looks when this payment goes through. So if success exists in that status, then we basically need to do the same thing over here. If you don't want to have to type it all out, you could just copy it, okay? And you could even take this one and get down here and pasty. And then let's get in here. Good. So we then check if order payment status is processing. We mark it as paid. We save the order. We clear the cart. Then we return them back to this page with payment status saying paid. Else, from here, from where we check if reference exists, go ahead and return field if reference does not exist. So this should be field. Good. So our order is not gonna get saved. And in fact, even if you want to save the order after returning the field, you could just say order dot payment underscore status should be equal to field. But one of the reasons why I don't like marking orders as field if payments didn't go through is so that I can give users the opportunity to retry the order instead of having to re-add items to their carts and all that. Okay, so a user has already compiled an order, added items to carts, applied coupons, and they tried checking out, and for some reasons payments failed. You don't want to have them go through the stress of performing all that operation again. Instead, you could just give them the opportunity to retry the payments for that particular order. So for now, that's why I leave it as paid and continue leaving it as pending so that users can then go ahead and retry the order. But if for any reason the order isn't really going through, you could just mark it as failed. Okay. So when you have done this, that's about it. Spin up your server, create a URL for this. Call the URL payment underscore Paystack payment verify. Good. And then I want you to take this, put it here, and put it here. Oops, this should be Paystack. Okay, and I mistakenly took the PayPal one. So Paystack underscore payment underscore verify. Please hold on. Let me make sure that this is actually what I called it in the views PY. For some reason, it seems not to be autofilling. Oh, see? Paystack. It was called Paystack instead of Paystack. Now this should work. See? That's working. So I'm going to put Paystack over there, and I'm also going to put Paystack over here. And yeah, that's about it. So get over to your checkout, and we need the script to actually perform Paystack payments. So in terms of actually making the Paystack payments, we need a Paystack inline script to do this. And over here, you can see I've got this simple script for you guys. And I've also included it in the template, so you don't have to stress yourself getting it. Okay, all we just need to do now is go through this, explain it, and fill up the information here. But before we do this, let's create an exchange rates helper function on API to be able to help us get exchange rates for Nigerian Naira and Indian rupees. Okay, so I will get back to my views PY, and in the plugin, now you see how this is going to work. In the plugin, I want you to create a new function called exchange rates.py. And we need to import a couple of things from decimal import decimal. Okay. And you also need to go ahead and import requests. And after that, we need to define a function called fetch underscore exchange underscore rates, just like that. And now response is going to be requests.get, and then we want to make a call to an API that's called this. So you could type this out: https://api.exchangerate-api.com/version4 v4 latest USD. So for Indian rupees and Nigerian Naira and maybe some other currencies that we'll be using, we basically want to get what their equivalents will be in USD. Okay, so when we get response back, let's go ahead and convert it to JSON, just like we did initially. And then I want to return some things. So let's return in a dictionary Indian rupee INR, and I'm going to say decimal, convert it to decimal. Then let's grab Indian rupees from the API response that returned back to us. So I'll say rates, and I want to specifically grab Indian rupees, and same thing is going to go for NGN, which is Nigerian Naira. Please add a comma over there. Nigerian Naira. So this is how you can grab exchange rates in real time. Now, whenever you want to make a payment, this will be called so we can get the latest exchange rates for USD. Okay, but this is not it. This is not everything I want to do. Let's go ahead and create a new variable called exchange underscore rates. Should be equal to. So we called this function and assigned it to this variable. Now, all we need to do now is start getting USD to INR rates, which is Indian rupees, get USD to NGN rates. Then we could convert USD to INR, then also convert USD to Nigerian Naira Kobo, and we can also convert USD to NGN, like a lot of rates, different types of rates. So let's start with define get underscore USD to INR rates. So for this one, we just need to return exchange rates, then INR. Very good. So for us to get the exchange rates for this, we return INR. Don't worry about this. I'll show you guys how to convert it later. Okay. And now let's also get the USD to NGN rates. So define get USD to NGN rates. And then we return exchange rates. We grab NGN. So now let's go ahead and convert USD to INR, which is Indian rupees. So define convert USD to Indian rupees and pass in the amount of the USD over here. So this is the one that's going to be passed in from the front end, not from the front end, from the views PY. So as soon as a user wants to make a payment in rupees, we just need to pass in the USD amount to this function here, and it will convert the USD amount to its equivalent in Indian rupees and return back the value for us. So we just need to say Indian rupee rates should be equal to get USD to INR rates like this. And finally, go ahead and return USD amount multiplied by INR rates. Okay, so this is actually a very simple and straightforward function. What we are basically doing is take the amount of the USD and multiply it by whatever Indian rupee rate is. So let's say the rate for Indian rupee right now is 8 rupees for 1 USD. I don't know what it is, okay? I just guessed this. Let's say it's 8 rupees for 1 USD. So what's going to happen is if we are making an order that's 2 USD, it will take 2 USD and multiply it by 8 rupees, which will give us 16 rupees. So yeah, that is it. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for converting USD to Kobo. So define convert USD to Kobo. Then we will pass in USD underscore amount. Good. And after that, we will go ahead and say NGN underscore rate should be equal to get USD NGN rates. And then we need to say NGN underscore amount should be equal to USD amount multiplied by the NGN rates. Very good. And one thing that I need to do is, based on the fact that we're trying to convert to Kobo, you need to multiply by 100 because that is the only way you can be able to get its value in Kobo. So we say return integer NGN underscore amount multiplied by 100. So this is the only way we'll be able to take that Naira amount and convert it to Kobo. Okay. So if it's 200,000 Naira, we multiply by 100, which will give us the amount in Kobo. And apart from that, we also need this. I don't want to convert to Kobo, just convert USD to NGN only. And remove this, just return this one. So return USD amount multiplied by NGN rate, and that should be about it. Okay. So when you have done this, that is everything that we want to do. All you then need to do is go ahead, open up your views PY and locate your checkout, which is here. And over here, you can go ahead and start getting all the items. So you can see amount in INR should be equal to, then you call that function. So you call converts underscore USD to INR. Then in here, you pass in order dot total. Simple as that. So you see, now go ahead and import this function. So we import from, okay, I can't actually find any clear cut import for that. So let's manually import it. Say from plugin dot exchange rate, import convert USD to INR, convert USD to Kobo, convert USD to NGN, done. And let's get back to our checkout page. Now this should not show this bug anymore. So convert USD to INR. Oh, I just called it convert USD INR. Okay. So I think that's what's caused the issue. So over here, add order.total for the INR one, and for the Kobo one, it should be convert USD to Kobo. For the Naira one, it should be convert USD to NGN. Very good. So when you have done all this, that is everything that we want to do. Let's go ahead and add these things in the context dictionary. So I'll take 1, 2, 3 and add it here. 1, 2, 3. Good. Do the same thing over here. Good. And finally, you want to go ahead and return your Paystack public key over here. So I'll duplicate this, get into my settings PY and grab my Paystack public key. And in the views PY, all I need to do is paste here, and this should be Paystack public key. Okay, guys, that is pretty much it. Now we have everything that we need. So let's get back to the checkout HTML and start configuring, the checkout page so that Paystack knows how to make payments for us. Starting with the Paystack public key, I'm going to remove this and, oh, there you go. I highlighted it now. So for this one, you just need to pass in the, that should be Paystack underscore public underscore key. Good. For the user email, it needs to be order.address.email. I believe you already know this one. For the amount in Kobo, it should be amount in Kobo. So at the time of recording this video, I think 1 Naira to USD is about 1,700 or so. Yeah. So if we have like 2 USD, it will take that, convert it to Naira, then convert it to Kobo and send it to Paystack. Okay. Currency is going to be NGN because it's Nigerian Naira, obviously, except if you want to make payments with USD. And if you want to make payments to USD on Paystack, you must have a verified business and you must have Paystack actually unlock the feature for you by contacting them privately. Okay. So yeah, that is it. This is a ref, like a random number generation. This one is the Paystack verify, and you want to make sure to pass in the order over here. So for the order, it's going to be order.order_ID. Reference should still remain as this. Yeah. So I think that is pretty much it. The only thing that is left for us to do now is to actually create a button that is going to make the payments for us. And just so you guys know, I have actually compiled. Don't worry, I'm going to leave it in the templates that we'll be using. Okay, so you don't need to stress about this, but you could see that over here. Let me see. This one is Flutter Wave. This one here is Paystack. So you see this one that I just pasted. I will make sure to leave it in the templates for you, so you can actually make use of it. Okay, it has an ID of Paystack payments. When you click on it, it calls that function to start the Paystack payments, and it has this background color and this image attached to it. So let's go ahead and check this out and see what we have. Items have been cleared again, which means we need to start afresh, add items to cart again, and try checking out one more time. So I'll add to cart and also add to cart, and then come over to the cart page. And then you want to proceed to the checkout, but make sure that you select an address firstly. And after this, you can now see that we have a couple of payments gateways here: Paystack, Flutterwave, and Razorpay. For Paystack, as soon as you click on this, nothing is going to happen. Nothing will happen because we don't actually have the CDNs yet to make the payment. So what I want to do is, over here, I will paste the CDN. Okay? Just like I said, you don't need to stress about this. And if for any reason you don't have the CDN, you can always pause the video and type it out. It's actually just a very simple link over here. That should be in a script tag. Okay? You can always pause the video and type it out, okay? Now I just reloaded the page. Go ahead and click on the Paystack button. You can see it's loading up. And there you go. So you can see 1,829 USD is about 2.9 million Naira. So that's actually a lot to pay for. As Paystack as I'm going to reach my limits. Yeah, if I pay for that, I'm going to reach my limits for the day and I won't be able to test again. So what I will want to do right now is, let me remove this item, get back to the cart, and I'm going to remove this one. I actually don't really want to pay for anything much, so let me change the prices. The Sony A7C camera, I will change its price to, let's say, 10 USD. Because if you exceed your testing limits for the day, you won't be able to test anymore till the day actually starts afresh. Remove that. There you go. We can now add this to the item again. Add to cart. See? Now go ahead, choose an address and proceed to checkout. Now click on pay with Paystack. Okay, now you see that's just 22,000 Naira. And you can go ahead and pay for this. Success, pay. So it verifies this payment, and there you go. It sends us to the payments page, and I just received a notification from Paystack right now. Did you hear that? Telling me that I have a new order. So when you come over to the orders page here, you can see that this should be paid. So that's it, guys. Paystack is working perfectly well as expected. In the future, we will get started working with Flutterwave, and after that, we work with Razorpay. And after that, we'll start tightening up our payment systems, like filling in the payments methods over here. I just noticed that we are not doing that. So we have to fill this in, okay? And after all that, I believe we should be done with payments and we should continue with something else. That's going to be it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and learned something new. If there is something that you don't understand, let me know in the comment section below and I'll be more than happy to help you out. Also, consider checking some of the links in the description below. One of them there should point you to what you might be looking for. And also a couple of courses there should help you become a better Python and Django developer. Hop over to desphixs.io, drop your email address, and we should be able to notify you as soon as we launch the application that we are building that should help you become a better developer. That's going to be it. I hope to see you in the next video. And until then, mad love. Peace out.